Hello everyone, this is the end of term 3 revision for grade 8 math. In this video, we're going to start reviewing chapter 10. In this chapter, we have learned how to find the volume for these shapes. Now for the cylinder it has two parallel and congruent bases. Here we have a circle and it's congruent to the base in the bottom. It's the same as this one. So to find the volume for the cylinder, we're going to do the same as we did in the prism. We're going to find the area of the base and multiply it with the height. You can imagine it as a circle in top of another circle in top of another circle. So what we're going to do, we're going to find the area of the base, the area of the circle, and then we're going to multiply it with the height to find the volume. So the volume for the cylinder equals to the area of the base. The area of the circle is pi times the radius square times its height. To find the volume, we're going to find this is the area of the base and we're going to multiply it with the height to get the volume. Now for the cone, the volume for the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. So we're going to use the same formula, pi times the radius square times height, and then we're going to multiply it with 1/3 because the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder if we have the same radius and the same height. Now for the sphere, the volume of the sphere is double the volume of the cone. So we're going to use the same formula. The volume of the sphere is pi times the radius square times the height times 1/3. This is the formula of the cone for one cone. But to fill one sphere, we need two cones. So we're going to multiply this by 2. Now, the height of the sphere is 2r. This is 1r. And here we have another r. So the height, this is the height, equals to 2r. The height of the sphere equals to 2r. So what I'm going to do, I will remove the edge and I'm going to write 2r. Then I'm going to multiply 2 times 2 give us 4. 4 times 1 give us 4 out of 3. So now the volume for the sphere is 4 out of 3 times pi times radius square times r. This is the radius cube. R to the power 2 times r to the power 1. This is r to the power 3. So this is the final formula that we're going to use to find the volume for the sphere. 4 out of 3 pi times the radius cube. Now for the hemisphere, the volume of the hemisphere is half the volume of the sphere. So the volume equals to 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius cube. This is the volume for the whole sphere. If we have a hemisphere, we're going to multiply this by 1/2. Now you can simplify. Divide by 2 give us 1. Divide by 2 give us 2. Now the formula will be the volume for the hemisphere is 2/3 pi times the radius cube. This is the final formula that we're going to use to find the volume for the hemisphere. Okay, now let's go for the first question. In this question, they ask us to find the volume for each cylinder and round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay, let's start with the first one. We're going to write the formula. The volume for the cylinder is the area of the base, which is pi times the radius square times its height. Let's substitute. The value for pi is approximately 3.14. The value for pi is approximately 3.14, or you can use it as a fraction. The approximate value is 22/7. Here it's better to use 22 out of 7, so you can simplify it with the 7. But if the question asks you to use the value for pi is 3.14, stick with this, okay? Use this one. Now we're going to substitute here 3.14 times the radius is 7. So 7 square times the height of the cylinder, which is 20. Okay, now let's simplify. 7 squared is 49. It's 7. When we say 7 square, it means 7 times 7, which is 49. So we have 3.14 times 49 times 20. Now I'm going to multiply 2 times 49. 2 times 49 is 98. 98, and we have a 0, so 980 times 314. 300 or 3.14. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I will remove the decimal point, multiply, and put it back again. Or we can move the decimal point one step to the right and remove the 0. Okay, now 314 times 980. 0 times anything is 0. Now let's go for the second digit. 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 2 down and 3 up. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Plus, now let's multiply the 9. But don't forget we have 2 zeros because it's in the 100 place. 9 times 4 is 36. 6 down and 3 up. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 3 is 12. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. 0, 2, 7, 7, 10, 3. Now let's put the decimal point back again. The decimal point was here. So we had 2 digits in the decimal part. So also my answer should contain 2 digits in the decimal part. The decimal point should be here. So the approximate value for the volume of this cylinder is 3077.2, and the unit is centimeter cubed. Let's go for the second question. We're going to do the same steps. First step is to write the formula. The volume of the cylinder is pi times the radius square times the height. The approximate value for pi is 3.14, and the radius here is 8. So 8 squared times the height, which is 9. 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. So here it's 64 times 9 times 3.14. Okay, let's simplify more. I will multiply 64 times 9. Now 9 times 4 is 36. 6 down, 3 up. 9 times 6 is 54. 54 plus 3 is 57. Now we have to multiply 3.14 times 576. I will do a long multiplication. I will remove the decimal point. 314 times 576. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 down and 2 up. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus, don't forget the 0. 7 times 4 is 28. 8 down and 2 up. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 2 is 9. 7 times 3 is 21. Now we have 2 zeros because we are in the 100 place. 5 times 4 is 20. 0 down, 2 up. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. Now let's add 4, 16, 18, 10, 8, 1. Now let's put the decimal point back again. In the question we had 2 digits in the decimal part, so also my answer should contain 2 digits in the decimal part. So the answer 1808.64. But the question asked me to round to the nearest tenth. This is the nearest tenth. We have to look for the previous digit. Since it's less than 5, we're going to round it down. So the answer will be 1808.6, and the unit is feet cubed. Okay, now let's go for question number 3. In question number 3, it says find the volume in terms of pi. In terms of pi, it means you don't have to substitute its value, 3.14, the approximate value. Just keep it as pi. So let's try to solve it. Write the formula. Pi times radius square times the height. Here in the question they gave us the diameter. This is the diameter of the circle. If we want to find the radius, divide it by 2. The radius is 4 and here is 4. Okay, the radius is 4. Don't substitute 8. It will be wrong. So now we're going to have pi. Don't substitute the value for pi because it says in terms of pi, times a radius which is 4 squared times the height which is 12. Pi times 4 squared is 16. 16 times 12. Let's do it as a long multiplication. 12 times 16. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Put a 0. 1 times 16 is 16. Add 2, 9, 1. 192. So the volume of this cylinder is 192 pi, and the unit is inch cubed. Now let's go for the second equation. Also we're going to do the same. Write the formula. Pi times the radius square times the height. Remember, this is the area of the base. We're going to multiply it with the height to get the volume. Now the question gave us the diameter. The diameter is 10, so the radius will be 5. The radius here is 5 and the radius here is also 5. So we're going to substitute 5 instead of r. The volume will be 5 squared times the height which is 6. 5 squared is 5 times 5 which is 25 times 6. Simplify more. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 3 is 15. 150 pi, and the unit is feet cubed. Okay, now for this part they ask us to find the volume for each cone in terms of pi, so no need to substitute the value for pi. Keep it as it is. Okay, I want you to try. Pause the video, try to solve these questions by yourself and then check your answers with us. Okay, now I'm going to start with the formula. I will write the formula here. The volume for the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. So it will be 1/3 times pi times the radius square times the height. So we have only 1/3 is extra. This is because the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. Now let's substitute 1/3 times pi times the radius is 14 times 14 squared times the height which is 2. Okay, let's simplify. 1/3 times pi times 14 times 14. Let's do it here. 14 times 14. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Put a 0. 4, 1, 6, 9, 1. 196 times 2. Okay, let's multiply with 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So 392 times pi times 1/3. When we multiply by 1/3, it's the same as dividing by 3. So this is equal to 392 divided by 3 pi. Okay, now let's divide. First, we're going to divide 3 divided by 3. This is equal to 1. Now 9 divided by 3. This is equal to 3. Now 2 divided by 3 is 0 and the remainder is 2. 2/3. 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. Okay, so the answer will be 130.6 repeating pi. Let's go for the second question. For question number 2, we're going to do the same. We're going to write the formula. The volume is 1/3 pi times the radius square times the height. Let's substitute. It will be 1/3 pi. The radius is 2, so it will be 4 times the height is 7. We're gonna multiply 4 by 7 and then we're gonna divide by 3. 4 times 7 is 28 divided by 3. So we're gonna have 28 divided by 3 pi. Okay, 28 divided by 3 is 9 because 9 times 3 is 27. And the remainder is 1. 1/3, 1 out of 3. So it's 0.3 repeating. The answer will be 9.3 repeating pi. And the unit is feet cubed. The same for question number 4. Here is the radius will be the half of the diameter. This is the diameter. The diameter is 90. So the radius will be 45. Okay, use the same formula. Volume is 1/3 times pi times the radius square times the height. Substitute. It will be 1/3 times pi times the radius is 45. I'm going to write it as 45 times 45. 45 squared, it means 45 times 45. And then we're going to multiply it with the height, which is 35. I did that because I know we can simplify 3 with 45. 45 is multiple of 3. So let's divide by 3, give us 1. 45 divided by 3, 30 divided by 3 is 10. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. So this is 15. Now we have to multiply pi times 15 times 45 times the 35. The final answer will be 23,625 pi, and the unit is centimeter cubed. You have to do the same here for the question number 3, but remember they give us the diameter. The diameter is 10, so the radius is 5. So let's write the formula. The volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. 1/3 times pi times the radius is 5. 5 squared times the height, which is 9. Okay, now you can simplify. Divide this by 3, give us 1. Divide this by 3, give us 3. So now we have, and 5 squared, it's 5 times 5, which is 25. So now we have pi times 25 times 3. 3 times 25 is 75 pi, and the unit is millimeter cubed. Okay, now we have a sphere. Remember, the volume for the sphere is double the volume for the cone, and the formula will be 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius cubed. Now let's substitute. Here the question asked me to find the volume in terms of pi, so no need to write the approximate value for pi, which is 3.14. Just keep it as it is. So we're going to have 4 out of 3 times pi times 23 cubed. 23 cubed, it means 23 times 23 times 23. And this is equals to 12,167. 4 out of 3 times pi times 12,000. You can do it as a long multiplication. 12,167. And then we're going to multiply this by 4, and then we're going to divide it by 3. Okay? Or you can check if this number is divisible by 3. To determine if this number is divisible by 3, add the digits together and see if the answer is multiple of 3. If we add them together, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17. So it's not multiple 17, it's not multiple of 3. So I'm going to multiply and then we're gonna divide by 3. 12,167 times 4. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 is 26. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. So we have 48,668. Now we're going to divide this by 3. Okay, I'm going to write it as a fraction for 48,668 divided by 3. Okay. First, we're gonna start dividing 4 by 3. 4 divided by 3 is 1, and the remainder is 1. So now we have 18. We're gonna divide 18 by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 3 also is 2. 8 divided by 3 is 2, and the remainder is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So the difference is 2. The remainder is 2. 2 out of 3, which is 2/3. 2/3 is 6 repeating, 0.6 repeating. So the final answer will be 16,222.6 repeating, and this is pi times pi, and the unit is feet cubed. Let's do the same for the second question. First, we have to write the formula. 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius cube. Let's substitute. Here, pay attention that 9, it's not the radius. 9 is the diameter. So the radius will be 4.5. Here, it will be 4.5, and this one will be 4.5. Okay, because this is the diameter. So we're gonna have 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius, which is 4.5 cubed. You have to multiply it by itself 3 times. You have to multiply 4.5 times 4.5 times 4.5, and then we're going to multiply it by 4 and divide it by 3. Multiply it with 4 out of 3, or 4/3. If you did that, the final answer will be 121.5 pi, and the unit is inch cubed. Okay, let's go for question number 3. In this question, it says a necklace has a single spherical pearl with a radius of 2.1 millimeter. This is the radius. What is the volume? Okay, since we have a spherical shape, the volume will be 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius cubed. Substitute 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius, which is 2.1 to the power 3. Again, we have to multiply 2.1 times 2.1, and the answer, we're going to multiply it again by 2.1. We're going to multiply it by itself 3 times. This will give us 9.261. We have to multiply it with 4 out of 3 times pi. The final answer times 4 out of 3. This is equals to 12.348 pi, and the unit is millimeter cubed. But note that the question asked me to round to the nearest tenth. This is the tenth. Okay, we have to look for before the previous digit. It's less than 5, so we're gonna round it down. It will be 12.3 pi millimeter cubed. Okay, here it's the same. It says the radius of a mini basketball is 4 inches. A pump can inflate the ball at a rate of 6 cubic inch per second. How long it will take to inflate the ball? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so first we need to find the volume. Here it says that the pump can inflate the ball at a rate of 6 cubic inch per second. So first we need to find the volume, and then we're going to divide it by 6. Let's see. The volume for this mini basketball is 4 out of 3 times pi times the radius cube. Okay, now I'm going to substitute 4 out of 3 times pi. The approximate value for pi is 3.14 times the radius cubed, 4 cubed. Okay, I'm going to use the calculator. 4 out of 3 times 3.14 times the 4 cubed. This is give us 267.9 This is the volume of the sphere, and the unit is inch cubed. So the volume for the sphere is 267.9 inch cubed. Now it says in the question that the pump can inflate the pole at a rate of 60 cubic inch per second. To determine the time that it will take to inflate the pole, we need to find how many 60 cubic inches in this sphere. So we have to divide the volume by 6 to get the time needed to fill or inflate the pole. So 267.9 divided by 6, this is equal to, and the approximate answer will be 44.7 seconds.